What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, Justin Fields got some more love from his teammates, specifically across the offensive line with two starters, showing him some big props on how he's handled himself so far being a member of the New York Jets. Then Arian Smith, he was turning heads at Jets rookie minicamp, and could he be the wide receiver too? We'll dive into it all on today's show, but quickly, we need your help here to beat the Bills breakdown in a race to 100 subscribers. We are just 24 subs away from reaching that goal, and if you guys could help us beat the Bills breakdown here in a race to 100 subs, I would greatly appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button today. We got a video around your New York Jets coming out every single day this offseason. So hit that sub button and don't miss a thing. All right, so Justin Fields, he's been getting a lot of love from his teammates all offseason. There's been a countless number of guys who came out and just said, I love the way Fields handles himself. Like Tyrod Taylor, we broke that down on a show recently. He was showing Fields a lot of love. But now it's actually his offensive linemen and two starters in particular that were showing Fields a lot of love recently. And that first one being John Simpson, starting guard for the New York Jets, saying he's a super good guy, super quiet. He stays to himself, and you can see how determined he is to be great. So it's going to be fun to watch. And I kind of like that note about Fields being a quiet guy, just kind of goes about his business. And you always got respect for people like that who just put their nose down. It's all about the work. They never try to make it about themselves. And clearly Fields is that. And I could just see, if I was an offensive lineman, Justin Fields would be a guy I would love to play for. Like, obviously, he has that dual threat ability, which, some offensive linemen have came out and said in the past they don't love a mobile quarterback because they can just get called for holding penalties if he's, breaking away from the pocket. Offensive linemen's locked up. Sometimes they can get called for some unnecessary holding calls. But in terms of just Fields as a guy, just a ride-or-die person in that locker room, I got to imagine the offensive linemen are going to be all in on him being the starting quarterback for New York. But it was also the center, Joe Tippmann, who was talking about Justin Fields, saying just getting to meet him and get to know him. You can tell he's a great guy, a great quarterback, great leader. It's a great thing. We've been getting our work in at the simulator after practice. Now, that part was pretty interesting in terms of both those guys working at the simulator. I don't know what that simulator is. I wish Joe Tippmann kind of went more in depth on that one. But, the one thing I can guarantee, and I've been saying this all offseason, off the field won't be an issue for Fields. Like, we will never get a report where it's like Fields is frustrated with the offense. Fields is causing, havoc in the locker room. He's upset. He's not a good locker room guy, yada, yada, yada. We will never get that nonsense about Justin Fields, which is a pretty cool spot to be in as a fan, where it's like, yeah, we just need to worry about our quarterback on the field. There's no off-the-field issues, and especially transitioning from the Aaron Rodgers era, specifically as a Jets fan, that's a great feeling to have. And I just think with Fields, he checks every box as a leader, all the intangibles, as a dual threat quarterback, but I truly do believe it will come down to Fields taking that next step as a pocket passer. Like in those 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 situations. Can you just hit your back foot, stand in the pocket, deliver a strike? I think he can develop it as that, and especially when you have somebody like Garrett Wilson, who he has a great connection with, especially on those 3rd down situations where even if the play gets off script for a little bit, but he is still in the pocket, just having that connection with Garrett Wilson, I think could just contribute to him being a better pocket passer. And also having a guy like Mason Taylor. I can't wait to see Fields with a true tight end one, which I am already banking on Mason Taylor being a top 15 tight end in the NFL from day one. He already looked that good at Jets rookie minicamp. But, Fields, he's already taken strides as a passer throughout his NFL career. And I think that's been something that's been misrepresented about his game, is people saying that he hasn't really developed since his time in Chicago. I mean, you guys can just take the stats, for example, here. Just look at the completion percentage. They have skyrocketed every single year. Dating back from 2021, this guy completed 59% of his passes. Compared to this past year with Pittsburgh, he was already up to 66%. And he was also 4-2 before he got benched for Russell Wilson this past year with the Steelers. But, more on Fields here. I just think he is a guy that, this locker room and those other 10 guys, like, let's just say it's like a 2-minute situation. Jets are down 27-23, for example, and you got to go down there and you got to go have a game-winning touchdown drive. He is somebody, when he breaks that huddle, play call gets in, everybody claps their hands. They will believe that Justin Fields is going to do whatever he takes to go win that football game. And I kind of am hoping Fields gets some of that energy back that he had at Ohio State, where he was a very confident football player. He had a swagger. He had a demeanor about him. We haven't really seen that translate to the NFL level. Now, we saw that in certain spots in Chicago when he was being very successful, and didn't really see it a whole lot in Pittsburgh, but that was just because of limited reps. I'm hoping Fields, maybe the Jets get an early schedule or an easy schedule early on in the season. They're 3-1. You just kind of see the confidence start to build with Fields. And we saw it last year with the Vikings and Sam Darnold. Like, he started off the season crazy hot. They went 5-0. Then he started to struggle a lot during the middle of the year, but then it just took him stacking good games over and over again. You started looking at Darnold like, is that guy a top 10 quarterback in the league? And I think confidence can do that to the quarterback position. And I always make this comparison. Throwing a football is a lot like shooting a basketball, where if you see a couple of good throws, early on in the game, you can kind of just black out in your mind. And, for basketball players, all they're seeing is back rim the entire time, where I'm sure for the quarterback position, all you are is just seeing those receiver hands. You're not even focused on the defense. So hopefully Fields is able to build some confidence early on in the season, and I think he will be able to do so. But I'll ask you guys this. Justin Fields is the blank best quarterback in the NFL heading into next season. I think he's in that 18 to 26 range right now in terms of the best starters in the league. But you guys let me know if you guys got a spot for Justin Fields in terms of where he ranks as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Let me know your thoughts down below. All right, let's talk about one of his weapons here, Arian Smith, burner from Georgia. He's already turning heads, and he's already getting a comparison to one of the best deep threats in the National Football League, and we'll share that with you guys here in a second. But it's actually Zach Rosenblatt, who's at Jets rookie minicamp, tweeting this out, saying Arian Smith said he ran a 4.28 40 at Georgia. Wild. Saying he knows everyone talks about his drop issue in college, but he's putting in the work to overcome it. Said it was an issue of focus in college, not technique. Now, quickly on the drop issue here. I think this is a mental part of the game of football. And I think Aaron Glenn, if you just think about, the process they have, where it's like clearly Aaron Glenn values character guys. I think if he viewed Arian Smith as a guy who's not going to work hard, who's not going to overcome these issues, they wouldn't have taken him in the 4th round, which was a very rich pick for Arian Smith. He was supposed to be a 6th or 7th rounder. So I think that kind of speaks to maybe the work ethic that Arian Smith has that, us, as somebody who covers the Jets or just being a fan of the Jets, you can't necessarily see that, and you don't know that about the person. But I do think Arian Smith, he'll have the work ethic to overcome it. But also this coming in on Arian saying, I think we're going to get to a point this camp where Arian Smith might be in legit competition to be the Jets wide receiver too. He's got an unbelievable mindset, is well-spoken, and knows what he has to work on. If he catches the football consistently, like I said, you've got a reincarnation of Deshaun Jackson in 2025. And it's crazy how, as at the time we're filming this, we're only one day in to Jets rookie minicamp, and Arian Smith is already turning heads. And I think that's a great spot to be in, especially if you are a young player in the National Football League. You step in there day one of practice, and you already have the beat reporters, you already have the coaches talking about you. I think that's awesome. Now, if I had to kind of play a little devil's advocate with Arian Smith here, speed kills at practice. Like, you see that, especially with no pads on. Like, you can really see the speed on a couple of these burners. And I think if you're just like a casual watcher and you just see, Arian Smith just ran, a go route, for example, and he looks like the fastest guy in the football field, you're going to be like, all right, that guy's a legit player. So speed can sometimes, I think, cloud our judgment of a wide receiver, especially at the practice level. But again, if that translates to the game, and he's one of the fastest players on the football field, we're going to have no worries about that. And, I talked about this on an earlier show. Could he be the next Jameson Williams? Where him for that Lions offense, he was the guy to take the top off the defense, whether that's him running deep posts or just deep streak routes. You still have to respect his speed. But the one difference between J-Mo and Arian Smith is Jameson Williams is actually one of the most underrated route runners in the league. He doesn't have a complete arsenal of routes, but he does run a specific 3 or 4 routes at a very, very high level. And if he becomes a better route runner, he can be Jameson Williams. Obviously, he's a lot smaller than J-Mo. J-Mo's about 6'1". He's got a lot more size to him, just longer arms in general, and Arian Smith more compact, a smaller receiver. But if he can still have that same impact, it will probably come down to him running routes if he can do that at a high level. But also, drops can't be an issue for Arian Smith. This is something where, because think about it, if he is a deep threat, and let's just say he gets 4 or 5 targets a game, and let's just say he gets open on 3 or 4 of those, and he gets the ball thrown to him one or two of those times. If that one or two times he gets the ball thrown his way, and let's just say he has a walk-in touchdown, but he drops it, like, that can't be an issue. Like, you almost can afford drops if you are more of like an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of receiver. You're that slot guy, and you're getting, 15 targets a game. But especially for these speedsters, drops can't be an issue. But I don't think it will be. I think he'll fix it up. Seems like a guy with a lot of high character. So I'm all in on the Arian Smith hype train. It's only been day one, but we got to have something to get excited about. So if you guys want to show Arian Smith some love, type those 82s down below in the comments section, and also hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest around your New York Jets. See y'all next time. As always, go Jets.